Today on Capitol Hill, the top U.S. intelligence chiefs will testify about the most significant threats to national security. The Senate Intelligence Committee will hear from directors of the FBI, CIA, and the National Intelligence. They called the Chinese Communist Party the most consequential threat to the U.S. in their annual report last year. So they've warned of Iran and North Korea's expanding nuclear programs. Of course, that report came before the Israel-Hamas war and the escalating tensions in the Middle East. Joining me now from Washington is Jamil Jaffer, founder and executive director of the National Security Institute. Jamil, I feel like every time we speak with you, there's something else we need to be concerned about or need to be doing. What will you be listening for during today's testimony?
Well, Nick, just at the end of January, FBI Director Chris Wray, who will be up there, as you mentioned, testifying before the Senate Intelligence Committee, told the House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party that the CCP represents the single greatest threat to America. And in particular, he talked about their capabilities and their potential interest in wreaking havoc on American businesses and the like through cyber capabilities. So I'm really interested to see what the Director of National Intelligence, what the head of the NSA and the Director of the CIA say about that particular threat, this question of cyber and China combined into one.
You're talking about cyber and China combined into one. Immediately, what comes to mind is the most recent hack of the health system. Do you believe that it's possible we may learn more about that today?
Well, it certainly may come up in questions, if not during the main testimony. I'm sure the senators will ask about it. It obviously caused huge problems. This is an attack on a payment processor that has now caused tons of doctors and hospitals around the country to be unable to get access to their systems, unable to bill for them. That's obviously a huge problem and can cause downstream effects across our entire healthcare system.
Jamil, we were just talking with a journalist who's been covering the conflict in Haiti and how it's evolved over the last year or so there since the assassination of Moise. But we've also been talking about the conflict with the Israel-Hamas war happening right now. How do these growing tensions in these different regions that are not here in the United States, how does that impact U.S. security?
Well, Nick, the world is literally on fire. You've got a war in Europe between Russia and Ukraine. You've got the war in the Middle East between Israel and Hamas. And now you've got this situation in Haiti, just 700 miles off the Florida coast, with Guy Philippe, a convicted drug trafficker, potentially looking to take power once again. He previously conducted a coup in that country back in 2004. We put him in jail after that. And there's gangs roaming the streets of Haiti. And to date, the U.S. government, the Biden administration, unfortunately hasn't leaned forward. We've been supporting efforts by the Kenyans and others to bring together a multinational task force that isn't there yet, but we're not ready to put people on the ground there. Of course, we did that back in 1994 under President Clinton. That was a challenge. So we'll see what happens. But, literally with all these challenges going on in the world, and then you've got China looking at Taiwan, this could explode again, and we are simply not positioned today to really effectively deal with one of these, much less four of them simultaneously going on. That's the real challenge for our nation. Are we prepared and postured to deal effectively with these challenges around the globe?
Jamil, while wars overseas are weighing heavily on Americans, cybersecurity threats are also top of mind, like we just talked about. Do you think the biggest threat to the United States is physical or virtual at this point?
Well, that's a really tough question, Nick. Obviously, our adversaries can do a lot of damage to us in the cyber domain because it represents essentially an asymmetric threat. It takes a little bit of cost, a little bit of effort to really take a strong effort against our nation. At the same time, I don't want to underplay the potential threat of a terrorist attack as this war with Hamas goes on in Israel, as Iran continues to get aggressive in the region. They may try to come after us here at home, and Al-Qaeda remains a threat. People shouldn't forget that. So a physical threat to our nation is certainly a possibility, but the more immediate challenge are this constant stream of cyber attacks that we haven't really effectively yet pushed back on and deterred our adversaries from conducting.
Jamil, Jaffer, once again, I want to thank you for kind of breaking it all down for us. I know that you'll be listening to today's hearing as well, and we'll see what we glean from Mr. Blinken and others actually speaking today. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Nick.
Democratic Congressman